Hello student, we are studying our classical mechanics course and in that we have started our first chapter, that is analytical dynamics, and in that we have covered the proof of the variational principle and also we have taken into account the applications of the variational principle. First application we have seen, that is the shortest distance between 2 points which lie on a plane is the straight line. Now the second application is the Brachistochrone problem. This is the application of the one of the application of the variational principle. But what is the Brachistochrone problem? So let's see. A particle slides from rest at one point on a frictionless wire in a vertical plane to another point under the influence of the earth gravitational field. If the particle travels in the shortest time, show that the path followed by it is a cycloid. In the problem we have a particle and which slide from the rest at one point on the frictionless wire. Also we have one frictionless wire and the particle slides on this frictionless wire and it starts from the rest in a vertical plane and in the to the another point. This particle goes to the another point and which all these things happens under the influence of the earth gravitational field. So this is the Brachistochrone problem and in that if the particle travels in the shortest time, we have the particle travel in a shortest time, then we have to show that the path followed by the particle is nothing but the cycloid. So using variational principle we can solve this. First we represent all these given things in the form of diagram. Suppose we have, this is the xy plane, this is the origin. Suppose we take the particle starting from here, that is from the origin, and it slides down to another point. Suppose we take, this is the wire on which particle slides. Here is the origin, that is a coordinate are 0, 0. Suppose we take another point A which has coordinate x1, y1. So the particle slides on this wire and this wire is a frictionless wire and all this happens in the presence of earth gravitational field, that is where G, that is a G factor for the acceleration due to gravity due to earth. Suppose, and in that problem we have to find the trajectory of particle followed by on this wireless curve or wireless or frictionless wire. So and also we have given that if the particle travels in a shortest time, we have here the particle travel from point O to A in a shortest time. First of all we have to find that shortest time, that is time required, shortest time required to goes from or to travel from particle from O to A. Suppose we take small element, that is this element on this wire, and this element, for this element we can say this element is a ds, and suppose we take this point is a P and this point is a P prime. Now we take this vertical distance, that is the distance from y axis to point P is x. This is the free fall or fall from the point when particle, vertical distance of fall from point O to P, because this is at an equidistance on a y axis. So this is the x distance and this is the figure for the Brachistochrone problem. So this is the all given data. Now from that we have to find the time required or the total time taken by the particle in a moving from higher point O to the lower point A. So first we write, let the shape of wire the shape of wire, let the shape of wire be in the form of a curve OA. Here we have seen in a figure, or we can draw in a figure like a curve OA, that is a wire which is in the form of curve OA, and the particles start from travel point O, or from the origin, that is a 0 0, and which is at a rest. First the particle which is at a rest, and after that it moves to the point A, that is A has a coordinate x1 and y1, and all these things happens under the influence of acceleration due to gravity. Now let nu be the speed of particle or speed along the curve. Then time, we know that the time required, to fall an arc length ds is, we take here the arc length ds, this part. So the time fall, or the time required to fall this arc length, that means the time required to travel the particle from through this element or on this element is nothing but the dt. Suppose we take it as dt, which is equal to ds upon nu, because the speed is the same overall the curve, so the speed as it is, but for this element distance is ds. We know that the velocity is nothing but the distance upon time. According to that we can write this, but this time is only for this particular element, but we have to find the shortest time overall the whole path. So we have to take integration. So the total time taken by the particle in moving from higher point O to A is given by t is equal to integration from 0 to A. So 0 to A ds by nu. This is the equation number 1. Just we integrate this equation because we have to find the total time taken by the particle to travel from point A to B. Now here in figure we take the vertical distance of fall from point O, because it is at on the x axis. So from this point to this point the distance is x, and we know that the particle is fall under the influence of gravity. Then according to, we can write the equation according to energy conservation law. That is half mv square or mu square is equal to mgx, where half mu square is nothing but the kinetic energy and this is the potential energy. So according to energy conservation law, the kinetic energy is balanced with the potential energy, where m is the mass of the particle, g is the acceleration due to gravity, x is the, this is a vertical distance, m is again mass, half is a constant, nu is the speed of the particle. So from this equation we can write get cancelled, then we get half nu square is equal to gx. From that we can calculate the value of nu, then we get nu is equal to square root of 2gx. This is the value of nu. This is the equation number 2. Now here we get the value of nu. This value we can substitute in equation number 1, then we get the total time, that is t is equal to integration from 0 to a ds by under root of square root twice gx. This is the equation number 3. So we get the total time. Now here ds is the length element, and our problem we have taken into account in a vertical plane. So we know that again the length element in a xy coordinate axis or in a plane is given by ds is equal to square root of dx square plus dy square. We also taken this element in our previous application, that is in a the shortest distance between two planes in a two planes. The points which lie in a plane is nothing but the straight line. In that we have also taken this element. So the ds is equal to square root of dx square plus dy square, or simply we can write ds is equal to under root 1 plus y dot square into dx. This also we have considered in our previous problem. Here we take dx square common, then we get 1 plus dy square divided by dx square, and here we define y dot is equal to dy by dx, the derivative of y with respect to x we define here y dot. So according to that we get this term. So we can substitute the value of this ds into the equation number 3, then we get the total time, that is ds is t is equal to integration from O to a, ds is nothing but the square root of 1 plus y dot square into dx, and the denominator as it is, that is a square root of twice gx. So this is the value of total time taken by the particle to travel from point O to a. Now we have to evaluate this integral. So we can write t is equal to, here the integration is with respect to dx. So integration from 0 to a square root of 1 plus y dot square divided by root twice gx into dx. Suppose this equation is a equation number 4. Now we know that according to the variation principle, for shortest or for the least action, for the integration, the variation is a minimum. For the variation is the minimum, delta I must be 0, that is a variation in I must be 0. For that we have d by dx in da by f by da by y dot minus da by f by da by y is equal to 0. To satisfy this condition, this must be equal to 0, and this is the Euler-Lagrangian equation. So in order to find the shortest time, we apply the variation principle. So here we define the function f such that f is equal to square root of 1 plus y dot square divided by square root of twice gx. Now for this time to be minimum, f must satisfy the Euler-Lagrangian equation. So first we take the derivative of f with respect to y, and then take the derivative of f with respect to y dot, then we get, it is a da by f by da by y is equal to, here clearly indicate that f is not function of y, it is just function of y dot. So the derivative of f with respect to y is equal to 0. Now we take the derivative of f with respect to y dot, then we get this term constant, that is a denominator term is a constant because it does not contain the y dot term. So 1 upon square root of twice gx as it is, and the derivative of square root of 1 plus y dot square is given by 1 upon 2 root of 1 plus y dot square into 2y dot according to the derivative of root x. So we get this 2 to get cancelled, then we get y dot divided by square root of twice gx into square root of 1 plus y dot square. So we get this equation. This is the equation number. Next equation, that is this is the fifth equation. So here we give equation number 5, equation number 6 and equation number 7. So from equation 6 and 7 we can substitute the value of dou by f by dou by y and dou by f by dou by y dot in equation 5. Then we get that is a d by dx dou by f by dou by y dot is nothing but the y dot upon square root of twice gx into square root of 1 plus y dot square, and the derivative of dou by f by dou by y is 0. So minus 0 is equal to 0, or simply we can write d by dx y dot square root of twice gx into square root of 1 plus y dot square equal to 0. So this is the equation which is in the form of derivative. Now we have to find this equation or this term is in the form of, or we have to show that this term is in the form of cycloid equation, because we have to show that in our problem the particle must satisfy the cycloid trajectory. So we have to remove this derivative first, then we take integration on both sides, then we get y dot divided by square root of twice gx into square root of 1 plus y dot square is equal to some constant c, where c is a constant of integration, and here also we know that g is a constant, that is a which is a acceleration due to gravity. So this term goes to again, or simply we can write before taking the integration this term may be written as d by dx 1 upon or y dot upon square root of x into square root of 1 plus y dot square equal to 0, because we have here the term that is a square root of 2g is a constant term, so we can take outside this derivative and it goes towards the RHS and it becomes 0. So we left with only the term that is a root x in the denominator and another remaining terms. So we get this after integrating the equation. Now we have to rearrange these all terms. So we take the square on both sides or squaring on both sides, then we get y dot square is equal to x into 1 plus y dot square is equal to c square. Now rearrange the terms and find the equation in terms of y dot. Then we get y dot square is equal to x plus xy dot square, and here c here goes to denominator. So we can write, now collect the y dot square term, then we get y dot square divided by c square minus x y dot square is equal to x. Again from this we can take y dot square common, then we get y dot square in bracket 1 by c square minus x is equal to x. Now we define for the 1 by c square is equal to some another constant, that is a b. We know that c is a constant of integration, then c square is also constant and 1 by c square is also constant. So we can take 1 by c square as another constant and we take here b and also which is a constant. So we can write the equation like so y dot is equal to 1 by or y dot into 1 by c square minus x is equal to x. Here we define 1 by c square is nothing but the b, then we can substitute this value, that is a b minus x is equal to x. Now here is the term y dot square, because we take square, here is also y dot square, here is a y dot square, therefore here is a y dot square. Now we have to find the value of y dot, then again rearrange this equation and then we get y dot square is equal to x divided by b minus x, or simply we can write y dot is equal to square root of x divided by b minus x. So this is the y dot term. Now we know that y dot is a dy by dx, that is a dy by dx is equal to square root of x divided by b minus x, right? Now we have to find the equation in terms of y, then we have to take the integration with respect to x, then we get y is equal to whole integration square root of x upon b minus x into dx and plus some another constant, that is a c prime, where c prime is a constant of integration, constant of integration. So we get this. Now we have to solve this integration, but this integration is solved with the help of the substitution method. So we can substitute for the x is equal to p sine square theta. Now differentiate this because we have to convert all this integration in the form of theta. So we have to take derivative of x, so we get the dx term. So dx is equal to 2b, or simply we can write b as it is. Derivative of sine square theta is a 2 sine theta into derivative of sine theta is the cos theta into derivative of theta is a d theta. So we get the value of dx. Now substitute all those value in our integration, then we get y is equal to integration square root of value of x is the b sine square theta divided by b as it is, and the value of again x is a b sine square theta, and the value of dx is the 2b sine theta cos theta into d theta. So our integration is in the form theta. So and the another is a plus c prime, which is a constant of integration. Now evaluate this. Y is equal to integration of square root of b sine square theta. Here we take common b, so b into 1 minus sine square theta into 2b sine theta into cos theta into d theta plus c prime. Now here b get cancelled, then we left with the 1 minus sine square theta, and we know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1, or 1 minus sine square theta is equal to cos square theta. So we can write y is equal to this square root and square get cancel. Here we can write instead of 1 minus sine square theta, we can write cos square theta. Again the square of cos of theta and the square root get cancelled, and we left with the sine theta, or simply we can write square root of sine square theta divided by square root of cos square theta into 2b sine theta cos theta into d theta plus c prime. Now here y is equal to this square and square root get cancelled, again this and this get cancelled, then we left with the sine theta divided by cos theta into 2b sine theta cos theta d theta plus c prime. This cos theta and this cos theta get cancelled with each other, then y is equal to sine and sine square, then we get 2b sine square theta d theta plus c prime, right? So we get this integration. Now we have to evaluate this integration, but we know that again cos 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta, or simply we can write for the 2 sine square theta, 2 sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta. So here we can write for the 2 sine square theta is the 1 minus cos 2 theta. So substitute here the value of this, then we get the integration like y is equal to integration from b and we substitute the value of 2 sin square theta. Then we get 1 minus cos 2 theta into d theta plus c prime. So we get this term. Now we have to give the integration to each and every term. Then we get integration from integration b d theta minus integration b cos 2 theta plus c prime. Now y is equal to the integration of b is nothing but the b theta minus b, we can take b from outside from this integral, then b, and the integration of cos 2 theta is given by sin 2 theta divided by the derivative of inner part, that is a derivative of 2 theta is nothing but the 2. So here is the 2 and plus c prime as it is. Now y is equal to b theta minus b sin 2 theta divided by 2 into b. We can take b from this common, then we get this plus c prime. Now y is equal to b by 2 theta minus sin 2 theta. Here we can take 2 from the denominator and we get this. So this is the equation number. Next equation, that is suppose we take equation A. Now this is the equation for y. Now we have to find the equation for x. So we substitute for the, and all these equation, all these y term is in the form of theta. Here we substitute, before we substitute the theta for x. Now again we have to substitute x is equal to, we have x is equal to b sin square theta. So we can write again x is equal to b, we can divide and multiply by 2, then we get 2 sin square theta divided by 2. So we can write this equation b into, we know that again 2 sin square theta is nothing but the 1 minus cos 2 theta. So b by 2 take common, this is the b by 2, this term, and 2 sin square theta is nothing but the 1 minus cos 2 theta. So we get this. Now this is the equation for y, and this is the equation for, that is x is equal to b by 2 1 minus cos 2 theta. This is the equation for x. Now here we have to find the value of c prime, but we know that we can take, or the curve passes through the origin, that is O point, that is 0 0. So the value of c prime is equal to 0. Then we can write equation number A such as y is equal to b by 2 theta minus sin 2 theta, and we have the value of x is equal to b by 2 1 minus cos 2 theta. So we have the value of x and y. Now we define the parameter, that is 2 theta is equal to phi, and we can take b by 2 as a. Here we define b by 2 as a and 2 theta is equal to phi. Substitute these two values in these two equations, then we get x is equal to b by 2 is nothing but the a. B is a constant, 2 is a constant, then we can define another constant with the help of another constant, that is a, that is x is equal to a into 1 minus cos, here cos 2 theta. So we can write 1 minus cos phi, because we define for the phi, that is 2, we can define 2 theta as a phi. So 1 minus cos phi, and y is equal to a, 2 theta is a phi minus sin phi. So these all are the two equations, and this equation is in the form of cycloid equation. X is equal to a 1 minus cos phi, and y is equal to a phi minus sin phi. These equations are in the form of cycloid equation. So we have to show that the particle which travel on a frictionless wire under the influence of gravity from point A to B, which follows the cycloid path, but when and when when it take shortest time goes from point A to B. So this represents a cycloid, and here the constant, that is a, we can determine because the curve passes through the point A. So we get the cycloid trajectory for the particle moving on a frictionless wire from rest to a particular point. We take here a point, and after all this simplification or by using the variational principle, we can show that the particle trajectory is nothing but the cycloid, or we can draw this cycloid trajectory as a, suppose we take this as a y-axis, this is as a x-axis, and this is the origin. Then we can draw the cycloid trajectory such as here we get this maxima, that is a pi a. This is the 2 pi, and this is the figure of cycloid trajectory of the particle. So this is the second application of the variational principle, or which is also called as a Brachistokor problem. Now the third application is the simple harmonic application of the variational principle, but this application we will discuss in our next video.